Damn. There's a vent here. I'll probably get some air. Or it's just gonna fucking toss me up. Can you give me air? It did not give me air. Let's go get some air. What's that? Oh shit! There they are! You probably noticed already, but all my videos are in stereoscopic 3D, and this causes huge problems with YouTube's new player. So, the solution is to click the first link in the description. This is gonna open a Flash version of the YouTube player, which fully supports my videos. If you don't plan on watching in 3D, or if you're using Mac or mobile which don't support Flash, then click the second link in the description. That will open a 2D daily motion version of this video. Alright, so as far as virtual reality goes, you've seen me driving, walking, flying, running, all sorts of things I do in real life. But there is one thing you have not yet seen me do in virtual reality that I've done in real life, and that would be diving. So I do have 2 titles in my Steam library that are supposed to support VR, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the coolest looking one and do it first. We're gonna go ahead and take a look at Subnautica. So we're gonna go dive in a mysterious world with a game that has the survival theme going for it. So let's get ready here. Just gonna put on the gear, the equipment, and start the game. Okay. So I'm not sure though, because normally when I start the Rift, I don't see my desktop like this. Hey. Oh. Oh. Right. Fuck. I'm not. Damn it. Damn it. This wrong equipment bullshit. There we go. I'm sorry. I appear to have confused my real life gear with my virtual reality gear. I guess I really want to go diving. So, well, let's go do the next best thing. Let's go dive in Subnautica. Now, I'm gonna get to, for the sake of this first impression video, I'm gonna get to what I did at one of my very first full tech runs in this game. We're gonna have to ignore something here. You notice that there's an issue with the water surface shader. I would like everyone to try to ignore that for the duration of this video. I'm fairly certain it has been reported countless times to the developers, and I'm sure it's gonna get taken care of at some point. But with the amount of improvements this game's gone through over time, the first few times I tried to run it months ago, I think like 8 or 9 months ago, it ran terribly. I couldn't even do the first impressions video. So this has gone a long way into running really well. I think they will get rid of that, so let's ignore it. It's not there. The problem that we see at the water surface right here is being mentioned for the last time now. Alright, so let's do what I did the first time, right? You see a ship, I'm like, man, that is big. Let's go see what that is. So let's go see what that is. And this leads to the next thing you get as a noob in this game, which is the holy fuckness of how intimidating open water is. The sea has this sort of, if you dive in real life, the sea has this sort of intimidating, infinitely open and deep feeling to it. And this is highly present in Subnautica. This is one of the first things I noticed. I'm going over all this surface here. And then, you know, you think you got some depth right there, and you end up in this sector here. This shit, I mean, with the light shafts, which are oddly realistic, that is what it looks like when you dive for real. And that fear factor I get now of not being either at the surface or at the bottom, and having low visibility, and hearing all sorts of sounds. I'm gonna go get some air now. Holy crap, this is scary. This is pretty much a good take on my personal first impressions of this game, because this is how I went into it. And I'm like, let's go see that ship over there. And then I'm like here, I'm like, holy fuck, am I supposed to be here? Because this is deep and this is scary. Because I do not feel confident right now at all. And go figure, this is one of these rare times when I record during the daytime. You probably see some daylight in my cam footage. And I can't see that daylight right now. I don't feel any more confident because I'm playing a scary environment at day. The environment is wrapping me in completely right now. I cannot see outside the rift. So this is equally scary when played at any time of the day, like any scary VR experience. Damn. There's a vent here. I'll probably get some air. Or it's just gonna fucking toss me up. Can you give me air? It did not give me air. Let's go get some air. What's that? Oh shit! There they are! This is what you see when you get here. Did he see me? Try to get a look at that. Ah! 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 Shit! Oh fuck! Oh fuck! Damn it! I thought I was being sneaky there. That's how you get introduced to this game. Because they put a ship there, you're like, oh, let's go take a look at the ship. That was scary, man. That was more than Five Nights at Freddy's scary. Because the lead up is worse. Okay, I gotta talk about that. I gotta talk about what this game does so damn right. In 2010, I got my open water certification. I really, really enjoy having done so. In fact, I wish I'd done it earlier in my life, because I've been snorkeling since I was like the age of 7. I snorkel a lot. My family has a place in Florida. We go there often. It's in Fort Lauderdale. Now, Fort Lauderdale doesn't have like one big key diving spot like the Great Barrier Reef, for instance, but it does have tons of variety when it comes to dive spots. You have coral reefs, you have wrecks, you have sort of, not really caves, but you have enclosed areas, and the wildlife itself is incredibly diverse. So Fort Lauderdale is not necessarily a key dive spot, but it's a very, very diverse one. When you're on the sea, let's try to take an angle that's kind of scarier. There you go. That's kind of deep, right? When you're on the sea on a boat and you see this kind of thing where you don't barely see the shore anymore, and you know you're really far out, the last thing you want to do is like jump off the boat. It's kind of like jumping off a plane with a parachute. Why would you jump off the functioning plane? So that's kind of like the first thing you do when you go for your first actual dives, not in a pool, is you're in the place where, you know, because I've gone drift fishing before, so I've gone to those distances aboard a boat, and I would look down, and I'd be like, the last thing I want to do is jump off this boat. And guess what you do when you go diving? You go to the exact same place where you told yourself once, I don't want to jump off this boat, and you jump off the damn boat. That's what you do. And then this happens. They've done this pretty well, where you just sort of sink in about 2-3 feet below the surface when you jump in, instead of floating directly at the surface. You get that feeling like, oh no, I done it now. The boat's sort of drifting away because there's waves, so you're like sort of scooting away like this, and you're like, oh no, that's not where I want it to be. And then you put your regulator in, and you can hear your breathing sort of be unequal the first time you do it, because this is what you see, and you're like, oh shit. But then your eyes settle, then your eyes adjust, and you start to see the depths a little better. And then obviously, if you're with an instructor, you'll eventually start going down underwater. And that's where you notice, once you reach the bottom, spend a little time there, and it sort of goes from ooh to ooh. You gather, by being down there, with the equipment you're wearing not to die from not being able to breathe, you sort of realize that you've entered an alien world within our world. It's literally an entire other planet within our planet. And the water, that stuff that makes visibility so difficult, is their atmosphere. Is literally their goddamn atmosphere. So you're wearing almost a spacesuit while you're on another planet, looking at extremely alien life forms. You think you know fish and what fish are shaped like? If you've never gone diving before, you do not. You definitely do not. And it's quite the feeling. After a while, that fear of depths will go away, even if you're terrified. It took me a lot of might, even though I was used to snorkeling, to actually just tell myself, fucking do it. Just go take the class, go on the boat, and if you're terrified, get out of the fucking water. And sure enough, because of my experience snorkeling, because of my experience with various fish in the water, like the great barracuda, which is all over Florida, I already had built up enough confidence to not let the fear completely grip me. So it was actually not that jarring. Once you get to the bottom and you start not really interacting with the wildlife, but being present amongst it, noticing that most of the wildlife doesn't give a shit about your presence, well, you get used to it. Now there is that one thing where Subnautica, you bastards, they bank on your fear big time. They will not mind banking on your fear of the depths by making said fears materialize. See, if you dive for real, the odds of something gigantic coming out of the blue straight at you to kill you is pretty much impossible. However, in Subnautica, it's nearly guaranteed. So yeah, these bastards are actually banking on that fear and materializing it. So might not be the best thing if you're trying to build up confidence to go diving, to play Subnautica, especially not at the very beginning when you're a noob, have no weapons, and are like, oh look, let's go see that shit. Well, that will get you. That will definitely get you, my friend. So I can make glass, and I think I can make silicone right now. I'll go ahead and do that. So as you can see, I'm using the fabricator right now. In this game, you can craft things for your survival. Now, I've started the game in freedom mode, where I can do whatever the crap I want. I'm not limited to having to eat all the time and so forth and so forth. Of course, it makes the game way easier. Reason why I did this is for the first impressions video. I didn't want to be interrupted all the time by having to do all sorts of things. I wanted to be able to keep a train of thought. But you can set this game on full-out survival mode, where you have to drink, where you have to eat, where you have to craft things, where you have to constantly watch your ass. And this is obviously the way I personally would play it if I were not doing a first impressions video. But I wanted to get technical here and there during the video, and it would have been distracting with all those other mechanics at play. So right now all I have to worry about is my oxygen and my health. If I get attacked, my health goes down or completely goes down like you saw earlier. So that can happen. Snorkeling is actually scarier than scuba diving, because you have to stay at the surface, and the fact that you have to stay at the surface makes the fish act weird around you. They see you as a big fucking floating turd. They're like, oh fuck, what is that big fucking thing? It's a big giant floating turd! However, when you're wearing scuba gear and you're at the bottom, aside from the fact that you're making bubbles, you're really invisible to the wildlife. Oh shit, a stalker fish right there. Make sure I don't get fucking blindsided by the stalker fish. Stalker fish can be a problem, especially when you have no equipment to battle it. I'd rather avoid confrontation like I would diving. Yeah, 10 seconds of oxygen remaining on top of that. Let's do that. So the mechanics of returning the capsule are pretty simple. You just swim all the way to 100 and click, and there you are. Now I'm just gonna stand in my capsule here for a minute. But Subnautica doesn't only really reproduce that fear of the depths well, or what gives you the fear of the depths, but will also bank on it, which is not right. So you people who want to learn how to dive, when you go in the sea into open areas that are ominous, that's all it is. Nothing really fucking actually ends up happening. You just get this ominous feeling, and then you just swim away, and that's it. But in Subnautica, you will get attacked. And, you know, I thought I would have had fear of extremely large predatory animals. That was my only main worry. The fear of depths went away very quickly, just like it would for anyone. In my opinion, you don't really have to be too worried about that. It will eventually go away. But once I shook off the fear of depths, it was the fear of large predatory fish. And it turns out that at my first encounter, the first shark I ever encountered was a very large nurse shark. And the first thing I noticed is it didn't have a predatory behavior at all. It had a dog-like behavior. It was moving like a happy dog looking at all the people around it. The freaking thing is about 7 foot long nurse shark, maybe 6-7 foot. It's pretty big, and it did not strike fear into me more than it struck a big smile on my face. I was so happy to quote meet unquote a shark, and it looked really happy to meet me. So I guess the encounter was mutual. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Fucking Subnautica banking on the fear of depths. What the fuck was that? That was probably not a good thing to get near, because it is very large. See, that's not something I would do in real life. But I've learned from Subnautica now that big things can actually kill you. But yeah, no, my first encounter with a nurse shark was very enlightening, whereas I felt more like I was swimming next to a dog-like creature more than I was swimming next to a predator. My second encounter with a shark was another nurse shark, much larger this time. I was north of Fort Lauderdale in Riviera Beach, which they have such good dive spots over there, deep dive spots, very open, with lots of wrecks. And I was having a blast during that dive, and it happens suddenly I just did a really quick swim around an entire wreck, and I sort of got exhausted from it, so I decided, hey, let's just, kneel down for a few seconds, work on the camera. So I get to the front of the boat I swam around, and kneel down, and start adjusting my camera. Then I look up and I suddenly realize, oh shit, no. I suddenly realize I am kneeling about 5 feet away from a huge nurse shark that's actually dozing off at the front of the boat. And it was funny. Obviously, it did not like my presence. It tried to shuffle away from me, but the way it looked to me when it started shuffling was almost, it was trying to make me a spot to sit in. Like, oh, am I in your way? I'm so sorry. I'll just shuffle out of the way. Here, have a seat. And my third encounter with a shark, with a large predatory animal, was awesome. I'm going to put the footage, just like it did for the 2 other clips. I'm swimming over, this is one of the dives that I like less. Actually, right now, I'm just going to do something here. I'm going to open the fabricator pod. I'm going to talk about all this, but I'm trying to get all the real diving stuff out of the way first. So what happens is, there we go. I can make a tank now because I made some glass, and I actually picked up a lot of titanium. So I took the quartz, I made some glass, and I crafted myself a tank that will almost double my endurance underwater. But what was I saying? Yeah, my third encounter with a shark was incredible. I'm on a dive where, and I'm not bummed out, but I'm just like, okay, it's gonna want to be one of these long-winded reef dives, where you just go down and you look at small things, ooh, a plant, ooh, a little jellyfish, ooh, this, ooh, that. So it's been 20 minutes, there's about 10 minutes of air left for me, so I know that it's not gonna suddenly get eventful. I'm sure writing off the dive is just another ordinary run, you know, another run-of-the-mill dive, and suddenly, two buddies in front of me, they start flailing their arms and alarmingly swimming in the opposite direction. So we're all swimming in one direction. Suddenly, they're a little bit above me. They start swimming in the opposite direction, flailing their arms, and obviously they're getting away from something. And if I know anything about diving, it's that if you ever see a predatory fish that is very large, do not flail around in front of it, especially if you're trying to get away. Try to be discreet, because you will provoke it just by flailing your arms around like someone who's very scared. Those things are predators, they're scavengers, they're gonna think you're injured, and they're gonna wanna come after you. Oh shit, that thing's still fucking there, so it's sort of limited here. Anyway, so as they start swimming away from something, I'm like, okay, they're swimming away from something big or intimidating or something, so I'm gonna go take a look at what it is. So I swam right under them in the opposite direction. I kept my heading, basically. I told myself I'm just gonna keep my heading, keep going straight ahead, and see what they're swimming away from. And at first I see a big fish come into view, and I'm like, wow, that's a big fish. And then I see what's behind that big fish. It was an 8-foot-long bull shark swimming with two huge 4 to 5 foot long cobia fish. And at first, you know, when you think the cobia is actually the shark, you know the shark is going to be really fucking big. So that was really, really amazing. The fact that I'm like, these guys are scared of something. I'm moving in for the shot. So I went, and I wish the visibility had been way better that day. The visibility was total ass. It was terrible. So I could not see well. It messed with my 3D video, but you can clearly see on the video the cobias come into view, and then the fucking 8-foot-long bull shark comes into view. And you can notice how this one was pretty much... that's what they become to me now, the sharks. They become like the canine of the sea. They're not very frightening to me. More like, you know, some dogs can be playful, some dogs can be aggressive, some dogs can be just absolutely not interested in your presence. Well, it's the same with sharks, I find. Oh yeah, and they have teeth. So it's you gotta be pretty much as careful with the sharks as you would with a dog that you don't know. You notice I've been picking up resources, been going in and out of the water, trying to keep my resource level high, and there's a ship over there, and I appear to need to craft things to survive. Now, earlier I did mention that I put this game in freedom mode, where I only have to worry about my health and my oxygen. But I would, if I took the maximum mode, need to eat, drink, and I think there's something else I have to do to make sure I don't die. So this is pretty much like Ark Survival Evolved, but underwater and without the multiplayer feature. But it's still fucking awesome. I mean, even though it doesn't have multiplayer, it's still fucking awesome. And I think that these guys, if anything, well... Oh, let's go check this out. I know that this is gonna happen now. Check this out. 1. Oh shit! What the fuck is going on? The explosion has stereoscopic issues. That sucks. I hope they fix that, because the explosion is actually really good looking. But yeah, it looks like the ship that you crash landed in. This is obviously a ship you crash landed in. This is your escape pod. It's not gonna fly anymore now. Like, there was a little bit of hope before. I thought that was the goal of the game, to fix the ship and fly out. But I think that fire is actually going to melt it apart, and yeah. So it was a pretty good timing to get to the topic of the actual game I'm playing now, and not just blabber about diving on, because this is pretty much part of the premise of the game. Is you crash landed on a ship, and you're not too sure what you have to do at the beginning, but you do know that there's craftables in there, so you start checking out the fabricator and crafting things, and you end up discovering that, oh shit, I can make silicone. I can make fans, cool, I'm gonna be a little faster underwater. I'm close to being able to make a rebreather. I can make pipes, but I don't want to. I didn't figure out how to use them yet. Let's see what else I actually should be. This I probably will want. A constructor will allow me to probably build pieces to extend my habitat. So kind of like Ark Survival Evolved, you build your habitat. But speaking of Ark Survival Evolved, this is one thing that this game got really, really right, and let's get into it right away. And they better have gotten it better than Ark Survival Evolved, because it happens that there's water everywhere in this game. It's the underwater graphics. They don't make me go cross-eyed, yet they do feel like I'm underwater. So they really didn't screw that up like Ark Survival Evolved did. The underwater feeling is incredibly accurate. There's not too many effects that don't work at all with virtual reality. In fact, there are none right now that I can tell that are being a problem underwater. It feels very comfortable. My only complaint doesn't even come to the visuals. It actually comes to the underwater mechanics, the way you move. I'll show you the problem. When you strafe, the camera tilts. That shit gets to me after a short amount of time. Now what I do is I try to limit my use of strafing while playing the game, but that doesn't serve very good for long playthroughs where sometimes you need to strafe to actually get around things. And if you get attacked by a stalker fish, which I saw in the distance earlier, you need to strafe around it to go behind it, not to let it bite you. But that shit will make me sick because of the strafe tilt. This tilting here, that shit should not be happening. The thing with virtual reality is it's not almost no forced camera motion. It's no forced camera motion at all. You shouldn't slightly break the rule or, ever so slightly try this or that. No. Don't do any forced camera motion. The one camera motion I can accept is a shake. Like for instance, during the explosion, the presence of a shake made me actually feel like the environment was like getting rattled. That's correct. But when it comes to locomotion, forced camera motion, nah. Head bobbing, tilting, all that crap is no-go in virtual reality. You gotta remove it. If I want to tilt my head when I strafe, I'll tilt my head when I strafe. Let us do it the way we want to do it. That's how virtual reality works. So this guy looks nice so far. He hasn't been a problem to me. And there's scraps here that I'm gonna need. Oh, come on, pick it up. I'm gonna try to keep an eye on that thing, although it keeps going out of the draw distance, so all good. Not too sure why. Are you mean? Oh, it's not mean. Well, let's go take a look at it then. Wow. This is kind of like meeting a shark in the water right now. Because it's big, but it's not threatening. Oh, that's threatening. That will be a threat to me. Where's my life pod? That will definitely be a threat to me. Do not want to swim near that thing. Let me try to get my air here. Spot my pod. My pod is here. Because I think it has engaged me. I'm not sure, but that's a stalker fish over there. And it's much less nice than that other big thing I was checking out, which might actually be drawing the attention of the stalker fish further. Yeah, so you gotta be careful in here. There are predators, and they will be much more voracious than a real-life predator would be, because you appear to be the only thing they want to eat in here. Yeah. So let's move. So that's how the game works, basically. You gotta gather materials, craft stuff, build it. You can actually build a habitation. I made myself a tank. So while I was talking, I actually crafted a tank for the first impressions video, show the craftables, the fabricator. But ultimately what I'll want to do here is I'll want to make myself that machine that constructs other things, because then I can actually start making a habitat. So if I were to compare this to Ark Survival Evolved, comfort level wise, it's almost there. Predator wise, it's very different. There's much less constant threat in this game than there is in Ark Survival Evolved. Exploration wise, it doesn't look like it has any limits, so it's pretty much as open. And when it comes to the dive mechanics, the reason why I've been talking about diving so much during this video is because I think these guys have nailed it. I think these guys are doing a great job of the feeling of diving. If it weren't for this damn strafe tilt, which makes me feel very uncomfortable every time I use it, this is excellent. The bubbles, the slight warp, the light shafts, the dusty appearance of that alien atmosphere that is the underwater. Everything's there. I'm really, really impressed with this game. Look at something they're getting so right. The feeling of looking up while you're diving, seeing the light shafts come down and seeing how deep you are. That shit feels real right now. That feels like all the times I looked up while I was diving for real. Aside from that, oh shit, there's something I want to mention right now. I was going to get to stereoscopic 3D talk, but before, there's something I really, really need to mention. I'm a little late on this. I'd like to give my apologies to Eincrou for being late on this, but I want to make a mention of Eincrou's final farewell August event. Eincrou's a good friend of mine. He produces a lot of stereoscopic 3D videos, probably the best ones on YouTube when it comes to gaming. He's given me a lot of advice on how to produce mine, and I've combined that with a few techniques that I've improved to make virtual reality captures look much better on the screen. And you know, there's a lot of credit due to him for how my videos look right now. And if you watch his videos, I mean, his stereoscopic 3D is liquid crystal clear. Something that people have asked me since Eincrou started his final farewell event is, you know, don't you feel the same? Because obviously I'm not getting the views that a 2D gaming channel would. I'm getting an interesting amount of views for broadcasting 3D. In fact, I'd like to thank everyone who watches lately. My subscriber count is approaching the 300, and it's not like I ever ask for any subscribers. That happened by itself. So that too, I'd like to, maybe I don't ask for subscribers all the time, but I will thank the people who have subscribed now. Take the time to do that as well. But to me, I'm not asking for that much more. I mean, I'm just really happy with what I already got. But when it comes to Eincrou, well, he was going for another angle. He was hoping to make a living off a YouTube channel. I can understand that. And, you know, like a CEO of a company or of a startup, after 5 years, you sort of want to do an assessment. You know, how's it gone? How can I improve my shit? Or is it even successful? You know, should I even keep going, or should I just completely change my approach or even stop? And look, he did his assessment, and his assessment is that it's not worth it anymore. That his goals will not be attained as he wanted them attained. So he's deciding to cease production. And before he does so, he launched the August final farewell event, which it involves him playing a different game every day. He's basically clearing his library backlog and just playing a whole bunch of games all August long. And I hope you are watching. I am telling you, I really, really hope you are watching. Because if you are not watching his final farewell event, I will come to your house and I will cut you. And I'm not even telling you where I'm gonna cut you. So you're gonna go watch right now. I'm gonna put a link to his channel in the description of this video. And I would very much like if you actually go paid his channel a visit and checked out the final farewell event. Because Eincrou's a pretty good content producer, and you'll actually see that from his videos. And it's very enjoyable. I've been watching a lot of it. I've even been mentioned a few times in it, obviously, because we interacted a lot in our YouTube time. And well, some people have asked me when my views and everything, you know, how do I keep going? That's how I keep going. It's really, to me, it's my first video on this channel isn't even a gaming video. It was one of my 3D diving videos, believe it or not. That was the first thing I ever posted on YouTube. I created that channel, this channel, because of that diving video that was in 3D, and YouTube had a 3D support feature. So I figured it was a great way to share the 3D online. And that's how I got started. So eventually I noticed that games worked in 3D. I started recording that. And like I said earlier, because I talk a lot and I just enjoy the process of recording the video itself, That's my motive. So my motive is completely different from Eincrou's. And personally, I would never, ever, ever, ever want to rely on YouTube for my livelihood. Look, YouTube or Google are a bunch of contemptuous bastards who won't mind pulling the plug on something you're using for your videos. The way they pulled 3D, the way they pulled response videos back in the day, they really don't mind canning a feature that you rely upon for your livelihood. Now, it hasn't happened to everyone, right? They're trying to cater to the majority. But what if you happen to have the misfortune of successfully making your livelihood off one of YouTube's feature and they one day decide, fuck this feature? You're fucked. If you make a livelihood on YouTube, you're lucky. I admire your success, and I really hope to fuck that YouTube never fuck you over. I'm not looking negatively at people who have chosen to make a livelihood off YouTube. I'm looking at YouTube in a negative light. If you're not watching Eincrou's final farewell event, I'm already on my way to cut you. So you better head over there right now. Links in the description, I remind you. And he has also some stereoscopic 3D videos. He uses the same presentation technique as I, which is he's going to give you a link to a Flash player that will show the video properly like I do all the time. I gotta make a note about the 3D now, because I wanted to go on to this before I got on the topic of Eincrou's final farewell event. Look, all my videos are in 3D, and I know that there's a lot of people right now watching my channel in 2D. Why? Well, because I got more view counts than I can account the 3D views for. There's not enough 3D viewers, regular 3D viewers on my channel to account for all those views. So I'm pretty sure a lot of you are watching in 2D, and I'd like to make a recommendation, a very stern recommendation. I don't oblige it or enforce it, but I strongly recommend it. You should watch my videos in 3D. It's really, really, really cool to watch these videos in 3D. Virtual reality is inherently stereoscopic. It's 3D in itself. So it's like whether you want it or not, it's already 3D. So I capture this and I put it in my videos. And you will get twice the enjoyment you do from watching my videos in 3D than watching them in 2D. Because then you can actually get a bit of that virtual reality immersion I'm getting. And I'm telling you, even by using shitty red and blue glasses, you will get something out of watching my videos that way. Even with the super crappy 1950s style red and blue glasses, there's something of value to gain out of watching my videos in 3D. Alright, so now my visibility has gone down a little because it's dark, and this is a bit creepy knowing that the predators in this game, they don't just swim by. They swim by, turn around, and kill you. Let's go in the pod now. So yeah, this is a really, really cool aspect of my channel, to watch stuff in 3D, and I really recommend to anybody. Just pick up a pair of red and blue glasses wherever you can. They're incredibly cheap. You can get some on eBay. And take a look at these videos in 3D. You might not even want to go back. Or, one thing that I could expect from someone who watches 3D on my videos for the first time is to want to play the game in 3D. There's a lot of games that I played on 3D monitors, not just in virtual reality. And I'm sure a lot of people would see out there and be like, oh shit, that looks cool. I want to play that exactly that way. So I highly recommend watching the 3D. In fact, everything I do is in fucking 3D. This face cam right now, the camera of me wearing the Oculus Rift, that's in 3D. If you also saw the diving clips earlier, the clips of me diving, guess what? Those two are in 3D. Yes, I take a stereoscopic camcorder with me when I go diving. It's got this big casing, and basically it's a Sony TD20 enclosed in a waterproof casing that can go down to 200 feet, so pretty safe for the dive. And I can actually film in 3D underwater. So I've been doing a lot of that every time I go diving. I take that rig with me. Worked a lot on the rig itself, trying to get trying to get something that would be reliable, safe to use, and easy to use underwater, and finally got a pretty good balance. So every time I go diving, I take that rig with me, and yes, it is a 3D cam. So all those shark clips I showed earlier, those are all in 3D. So yes, everything I do is absolutely 100% in 3D. And a few final notes here. I pretty much got everything I wanted out of the way. Showed you my real diving videos, compared it to what it feels like to dive in this game. Showed you the the depth of this game by showing you the crafting system, which I'm gonna elaborate on a little here because I'm back home. So I'm gonna craft a few things. Probably gonna want, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Craft some titanium, craft more titanium, and then eventually I'll be able to make a titanium ingot. Those will really become important when it comes to making a constructor. So, machines, constructor, I need lubricant, and I will need a power cell, which probably requires me to pass by bleach first for some reason. I think it takes bleach in it. But let's craft some fins. I can go a little faster. There we go. So I crafted something that directly goes in my inventory, and I think if I press tab, I open my PDA. It's not the best view in VR, but I do see well. This is much clearer than Ark Survival Evolved's crafting menus. It's just way too close to my nose right now. And I can't even use positional to get away from it. So, too close, back it up by a good foot. I'm serious. So, I have all my inventory here, my tank, I have scrap metal, I have fins, and I have a tank. So I could keep crafting stuff, and eventually I can get into the habitation things. But this is just the first impressions. I don't want to go too deep into the game, just to give you an idea of how I'm enjoying it right off the bat. And it is really, really a cool fucking title. So to anyone who has an Oculus Rift and is either a diver or is very curious about diving or just simply likes survival games overall, I highly recommend this. Comfort level is very high, despite a big problem with that strafe tilt that I spoke of a few times. The environment is unbelievably convincing for a diving simulation. Trying to sort of emulate the fact that you're diving, it feels convincing. The body model, by the way, I do have to make a note, is one of the very best body models I've seen in VR so far, especially the way it moves around when you swim and comes in and out of view. I hear something right now. Is there something near me? No. Okay. So I'm still safe. Anyways, but the convincing environment really, really helps the game make that great first impression on you. And then the exploration, the digging for resources, the predators. I haven't engaged in any combat yet, but it's probably amazing too. The exploration, digging for resources, it's all really, really cool. And it feels a lot like playing an underwater version of Ark Survival Evolved. So, I recommend this. If you liked Ark Survival Evolved, get this. In fact, you know what? The underwater is much better here. Oh, what a save! The underwater is much better here than it is in Ark Survival Evolved. The only downside I could say is that you now have no ground. But it's not a downside. I mean, this is the theme of the damn game, that you are stuck in a very, very open sea that goes on almost infinitely. It's part of their shtick. So let's not go after them for having a shtick at all. Wow, is that ever so open? I'm gonna get away from that. Whoa, that does not look very welcoming. It's probably better when you get more equipment and can actually go to greater depths and maybe, I don't know, make some pipes or some shit. I'm not too sure how those work yet, but I will figure it out. That's it. I will revisit this game over time. Because, like I said a couple of minutes earlier, this is just a first impressions video. I don't want to dig too far into it and end up making a 2-hour video that I'm then going to have to edit. In fact, I already have a few edits to make in this video because the game makes me lose my train of thought as I'm diving, trying to keep an eye on my oxygen, trying to keep an eye on the predators out there. There's a lot of things to juggle, so I did lose my train of thought there a few times. But I will come back to this game. I'll try to give it an Ark style Let's Play, and show you more, because it really, really deserves to be shown more often on my channel. I really, really like the way it plays out. It's really fun, and I've only seen probably 5% of the gameplay so far, believe it or not. Every time I play it, I discover something new, a new craftable, a new mechanic, a new resource. There's always something. And I've just discovered when I press shift. Pressing shift didn't do much before, but now that I got fins, wow. Alright, I'm swimming much faster now. Cool. Alright, so what I'll do is, next time I play, I'm actually going to start a new game, and I'll go full out. I'll go with the hunger, the thirst, and all those survival elements, because that's the way the game's meant to be played. The freedom mode that I'm using right now, where I only have to worry about my oxygen and my health, definitely is something you only want to use once or twice to get familiarized with the environment of the game. But once you're past that, I really suggest playing this in full-out survival mode, because that's where you get to fully experience its capabilities. So that's it, people. Subnautica. Hope you enjoyed your viewing. Don't forget, I haven't forgot, Eincrou's Final Farewell August event. You better go watch that, or I'm gonna cut you. And, well, as for me in this video, I am done, but I hope to see you again sometime shortly. I'm not too sure what my next title is, but I know I got a slight backlog there. I can probably clear another one out. So, hope you enjoyed. Hope you're watching in 3D, and I shall see you soon.